Hey, DIY Dad here. Welcome back to the channel. Gunfire going off in the background has nothing to do with why we're here talking. And if you're thinking, hey, that doesn't look like your house, you're right. It's not my house. This is a friend of mine's house and subscriber to the channel. What we're going to be doing today is taking the Lumary lights that we took off of my house as part of the upgrade and installing them here. So I'm going to walk you through the install just like we did last time. See how she comes out. Here we go. So the house we're going to be working with is a 4-car Rambler. So we have one continuous roof line that we're going to work with that has some jogs. So it starts off with our lighting. It's going to start back in that corner, work our way up around. Now when we get to the hips for the corners up here, we're going to have a little bit of a challenge, and that's because the lights are going to have to wrap around that edge, and we'll probably end up with either a light that's pointing this way or lights on the roof pointing up, which is not super ideal, but we'll deal with that problem when we get there and see what our spacing looks like. So we'll go up and around, deal with that hip, come to this side and cut back, go around the front of the porch, and then it's up around the front of the garage, up into the peak, and then terminating either on that corner, or if we have enough, we're gonna wrap the corner and go all the way back and plug in back there. So we're dealing with the 200-foot string of lights, which should be adequate for our needs. And we're just gonna walk through it step by step. Now, before we can even get to this point, I had to uninstall the lights from my house. And I put a note about this with the upgrade video, but just to recover it here, the 3M discs that are used on these lights, these guys, right here, these stick very, very well, almost too well. So to get these off of my house took a paint scraper and me pounding on the handle of that paint scraper with my palm, basically, to wedge it between this and the house. And even so, it left a good amount of adhesive on the eaves of my house and left that behind. So as prep for this, I have the spare discs that were sent with the kit. I also ordered some 3M kind of circular pads off of Amazon, and what I'm doing is just cleaning up the back of these of the lights that I hadn't used, so cleaning up the back of this and then popping the new disc on. Now Lumary sends you a decent amount of spare discs and spare adhesive with the original kit. I'd say hold on to those so that you have the ability to do something like this, because it is going to save me a bit of time once we get into this. So Tom, whose house this is currently working on cleaning the discs, and then by the time I get to where I need them, we should have the adhesive that we need. Aside from that, though, the install is much the same as it was before. So it's planning your course, figuring out where you're going to start and where you're going to end. If you have multiple segments, you want to think a little bit about your power supplies. In my case, I know there's power on the far side of the house, so I'm going to be able to run all the way to the corner and plug in there. And then it's just placing them up. So they have the adhesive, there's also the screw that goes in the middle. Based on my experience with the adhesive, the screw is completely unnecessary, but we'll see, your results may vary. So for the install itself then, one of the kind of keys to making this look good when it's done is to have the wire, the actual string running straight as possible. So what I use is a chunk of either 2x4 or 2x6, depending on the spacing that you want. Lumary recommends anywhere between, I think it's 2 and 6 inches of spacing. It just changes the way the cone appears on the house. For this particular house, the way that we're doing it, we're running 5.5 inches. So I'm using a 2x6 chunk of wood, and we're just gonna place that up against the house and use that to get consistent spacing as we run down the line. It makes it a lot quicker than having to measure. For the install, whether you're screwing them in or not, then the process is to place the adhesive disc with the light on it, stretch down to the next one so that you have your run correct, place that one, and then you can pull the disc off, leaving it up on the eave to run your screw through. If you're using the screws, but like I said, I really don't think it's actually that necessary. All right, so there's our first 3 lights positioned on the house. Now, depending on how particular you are, there are little clips that go on the wire between the lights, so you can make it stay really, really tight to the home and kind of keep it exactly perfect if you're that type of person. I'm really not. So we're not going to do that here for this install, at least not initially. We can always come back and add that. You do want to make sure, though, before you move on, that your end cap get screwed on just to keep this watertight. So we're going to close that off and then we'll move down. The other thing that I try to do is maximize my ladder placement because I don't like climbing up and down ladders. So I'm going to be placing it once we get off this corner here in such a way that I'm reaching off to the left for the next lighting location and then trying to work across. I should be able to get 4 to 5 lights per ladder placement. Makes this a lot faster and just maximizes our time getting lights on the house. So this is roughly where my ladder placement ends up. And then one additional tip for you is to make sure you take the string and sort of run it across. You don't want the string under the ladder or kind of trapped by the top legs, or when you go to actually do the install, it's going to get in your way, which isn't fun when you're 12 feet up on the house. So make sure you have it draped in such a way that you can work across it without it wrapping around you. All right, so one other kind of tip for you when you're doing this, when you get to a corner like this, my trick has always been to use my spacing block to space the cable to figure out where this light's going to go, so that the line of the cable makes a perfect square even if you don't actually have lights in that space. So you want your wire to run down like it would and then make its corner, and then this is where I'll use one of those little wire clips to kind of hold that in place, and then we run down the line. So this is that tricky kind of hip corner that I was telling you about. So if I stretch the lights all the way, it gets me right up here, and I'd have one kind of pointing up, but I think that's going to look really weird. So instead what I'm going to do is intentionally put one firing sideways, and then this extra little bit of slack that you can see dangling by my wrist, sorry, I'm one-handing this. That's going to have to get taken up by one of those clips. So I'll probably put the light about right here, and then the next one will fall kind of midway up on this section of roof, and then it'll go up into the peak. I think that's going to give us the best overall look. And then when we get to the other side, I will make sure to do the same thing so that we have 2 lights kind of firing towards each other, and we'll just handle the slack however we have to handle the slack. And this is my solution for how I'm taking up this extra slack. So I have the line doubled back on itself. I have one of these clips holding kind of the 2 layers, and then one holding this, so that it keeps this kind of nice and tight. And I don't think from the ground you'll even see it, but that keeps the line straight. I'll move the ladder and do that corner one as well. Same thing, I had it spaced so that that'll be pretty square, running out and running like that to figure out where that light gets placed. So here's our final solution on the main peak, or on the small peak. So got my sideways firing light right there. There's one that goes up on the shingled portion of this little hip roof, and then they run up to the peak, and then I chose to balance them. So there's a little bit of extra slack way up there at the top to allow them to be kind of balanced and spacing as they come down. And that led to the exact same situation on this side. So I have the one sideways facing, the one upward facing. I think that's gonna look pretty cool actually. We'll see once they get lit up. And now I'm working my way onto the porch, run down around, and then we go up into the big peak. So this is strange. This cap's installed backwards. This is supposed to be the cap that threads on to connect these 2 lights, but the thread is actually pointed the wrong direction. This is the first one I've seen like that. It's strange, just a weird build glitch. Won't matter for mine. I'm just gonna basically cut this cap off, connect these 2 together, and then I'll hit it with some white electrical tape so that it stays closed. Or maybe I'll see if I can find a way to widen the center of this out so I can still use it, but I'll have to find a way to sneak it past that end first. And clearly the wire was molded with this in place, so that's weird. Oh well, say la vie. All right, so as you can see, lights are on and working. No real drama with this install, just like the last one. Hardest part was getting the discs off of my house so this could be moved over, and then just that one weird kind of screw connection that was on backwards for whatever reason. But aside from that, everything's connected, and then we've got it run down to the corner over there where we have power so that we can actually get it plugged in, but that runs the whole house. I'll give you a preview and kind of show you what it looks like. Not quite dark yet, but you'll still be able to see it. So this then being the end of a DIY dad video, I of course owe you a dad joke. And since Halloween was yesterday, let's go festive with it. Sorry about the beeping in the background. The neighbor's house is literally having a front yard installed right now. So, see, there you go. What is a witch's favorite subject in school? Spelling. Right, remember with any DIY project, it doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to see the flaws unless you point them out to them. Take care. Catch you in the next one.